I've been sketching with watercolour pencils for about 25 years. People often tell me that they have a set but don't know how to use them. They are great for sketching, best on a small scale, and use little water, which is great when you are out and about. I start with a simple, non-soluble pen drawing. You need paper that will cope with some water, so not weak cartridge paper. Watercolour paper or multimedia paper will do the job. Finally, your brushes should not be too soft because you have to work them a little bit harder than traditional watercolour paints. If I do another video, I'll talk more about materials, but for now, let's look at some basic techniques. Here's some cross-hatching. This is traditional for ordinary coloured pencils, but it isn't the best for watercolour pencils, and this will show you why. It's very difficult to really lose all of the marks. To get a smooth effect, it's better to lay the colour on using the pencil on its side, like this. If you want a more textured effect, there are loads of possibilities, but that's for another video with better camera work. As you'll see, I don't start by doing a detailed colour pencil version and then adding water. So as I said before, I start with a very simple line drawing using non-soluble pen and just a little bit of textural detail, not a lot. The old mill is made of bricks and stone and flint. Beneath it, the water is rushing through those arches. And we also have a tree. I don't do a full colour version and then wash it out. I do the pencil and the waterwork as I go along. And here's a sky, just very easy, bit of blue scribble, spread the colour around, and it's quite easy to make a good sky effect. Now for the roof. Plenty of colours laid in horizontal stripes to indicate the tiles, but look, lots of gaps. Use the brush and the water to fill in the gaps and cover the paper, but always with a little bit of white paper showing through. That always gives a fresher effect to any watercolour. More different colours all blended together with short little lines to suggest brickwork. It'll wash out okay, like this. And then here I'm using a pencil into the wet paint to make some stronger marks. This area is stone and flint. I've laid down some very dark shadow tones right in the darkest corner here and then loosened it out with the brush. Always good to get a wide tonal range in your sketches. Some good dark shadows really make a difference. I always think watercolour pencils work really well for stonework. I suppose the slight bit of texture that you get left with just really works for stonework. Here I'm being quite detailed, working every block, giving it a little bit of shadow. Here's a more scribbly approach for you. And now for the water. It's rushing through those tunnels. Make sure you leave lots of white paper showing through. I've really scribbled with the pencils on their sides, and I've used the paint on my brush for the lighter tones in the middle of the bubbles. Again for the tree, I've scribbled with the pencils, I've shown the shadows, and then I've painted it out. More detail of the stonework and the flint checkerboard pattern that's typical of Salisbury. And here's the water, looking, I think, quite wet. Well, here's most of the finished article. I've added a few more details with ink and dry pencil. I'm sorry I can't get it all in. I apologise for the wonky camera work. I hope that nevertheless this has been interesting, and please like and share if you think other friends would like to view it. Key points to remember: watercolour pencils are a really good medium for working outdoors on a small scale. They're just so handy. Work with the pencils on the side to make a smooth result. There are loads of ways that you can make interesting textures and lively surfaces to your drawings. The right paper and the right brush will also make a lot of difference to how well you get on. I hope that you now start getting your watercolour pencils out of the drawer where they've lost and start getting out there and sketching outside. It's a really good fun thing to do. Thank you.